Ladies and gentlemen of the Chiefs Kingdom, feel the ground shaking beneath your feet. But this time, it's not the roar of a victory parade, it's the sound of a dynasty under siege. We're witnessing a moment in Kansas City history that feels like a fever dream, a descent from the mountaintop that has left the sea of red in a state of absolute shock. Think about the soul of this franchise, built on the foundational grit of Lamar Hunt, the precision of Len Dawson, and the modern-day sorcery of Patrick Mahomes. And now, we're staring at a January with no playoff football at Arrowhead. This is the brutal, unforgiving nature of the NFL. One year, you're hoisting the Lombardi, and the next, you're searching for answers in the wreckage of a 6-11 season that exposed every single crack in the armor. The flags are still flying, the pride is still there, but the dominance? It's been replaced by a hunger for revenge that is going to define the next decade of Chiefs football. Before we break down these massive updates, make sure you're part of the Kingdom's inner circle. Subscribe to the channel right now, smash that like button, and drop your take in the comments. Does the Chiefs Kingdom agree with this direction? I want to see that Red Sea rising in the comments. Now look, we have to talk about the data, and the data is ugly. We're talking about one of the most significant regressions in modern NFL history. Last season, we were celebrating a Super Bowl run. This season, we're watching the postseason from the couch. Why? Because the clutch gene that defined the Mahomes era seemingly vanished into the Missouri Might. And let's not sugarcoat the turning point. Week 15 against the Chargers, the moment Patrick Mahomes went down with that torn ACL, the lights didn't just dim at GEHA Field, they went out. Even before the injury, the magic wasn't working. We saw a team that lost its identity in the red zone and failed to close out games that Andy Reid usually wins in his sleep. We're talking about a 6-11 finish, Kingdom, the first losing season since 2012. That's pre-Reid era stuff. We were swept by the Chargers and the Broncos. Let that sink in. The AFC West title stayed in Denver for the first time since 2015. This wasn't just a bad bounce of the ball, it was a systemic collapse that has the Hunt family looking at a top 10 pick in the 2026 draft. But amidst the smoke and the ruins, there is one pillar of strength that remains standing, and that is Creed Humphrey. According to the latest PFF All-Pro breakdown by Gordon McGuinness, Humphrey was the lone bright spot, the only Chief to make the cut. We're talking about a staggering 88.8 PFF grade. He wasn't just good, he was the standard bearer for every center in the league. He allowed only 8 pressures all season. 8. While Mahomes was running for his life and Gardner Minshew was trying to figure out the playbook, Creed was a literal brick wall. He's the only center in the NFL to earn grades above 80.0 in both run blocking and pass protection while playing over 300 snaps. That is the blue-collar mentality we talk about. He's locked in through 2028 on that record-breaking extension, and thank God for that, because without him, this offensive line would have been a total sieve. And speaking of the line, we have to address the elephant in the room, the Joe Thuney trade. Looking back, shipping Thuney to the Chicago Bears for a 2026 fourth-rounder feels like a move that cost this team its soul up front. While the Chiefs were trying to save $16 million in cap space, Thuney was busy making the All-Pro team in Chicago. Mahomes was seeing ghosts on his dropbacks because the consistency just wasn't there. Look at the tactical layering here. Andy Reid's creative RPOs and those deep vertical shots depend on a clean pocket. If the interior isn't holding, the timing of the West Coast offense is trashed. We saw it all season. Mahomes' completion percentage on deep balls plummeted to a third of his attempts. When your rookie LT Josh Simmons goes down with a fractured wrist on Thanksgiving, and you're left shuffling the deck with Wanya Morris and Jalen Moore, you realize just how much you miss a veteran like Thuney. The human element inside the building tells an even stressful story. One veteran scout told me last week, inside those walls, the air is thick. They knew the margin for error was thin, but seeing the Magic Man go down was the gut punch no one recovers from. It's pure chess now. They're looking at that top 10 pick like it's a life raft. Another veteran analyst who's been around since the Derek Thomas days shared, "I've seen the Chiefs struggle, but this felt different. It felt like a team that lost its rhythm and then lost its heart when number 15 hit the turf. The Spagnuolo blitzes weren't hitting because the offense couldn't stay on the field. It's a total reset. And a third source from the coaching staff whispered, Creed is the only reason we didn't give up 60 sacks. He's the glue. Without him, we're talking about a 3-win season, tops. Let's dive into the biographical core of what makes a star like Creed Humphrey so vital. He's the modern-day link to the greatness of a guy like Will Shields, or even the interior dominance we saw in the early 2000s. Humphrey out of Oklahoma has started every single game since he was drafted in 2021. 85 straight starts. He's a 2-time Super Bowl champ who just earned his 4th Pro Bowl nod. His spatial awareness and ability to identify post-snap shell rotations is second to none. While Spagnuolo is trying to disguise coverages on one side, Creed is the one on the other side of the ball, neutralizing the most dangerous interior threats in the league. He's the bridge between the glory of the 2022-2023 runs and the uncertain future of 2026. He is the anchor of this dynasty, even when the ship is taken on water. So, where do we go from here? The Chiefs have a top 10 pick. They have a massive decision to make. Do they go back to the well and draft more protection from Mahomes? Do they look at a playmaker to replace the aging Travis Kelce? Or do they use free agency to bring back a veteran presence that they clearly lost when they moved on from Thuney? The 2025 season was a nightmare, but the kingdom doesn't stay down for long. We've seen this franchise evolve from the heartbreak of the 90s to the euphoria of the Mahomes years. The Hunt family legacy is about innovation and resilience. With a healthy Mahomes returning and Creed Humphrey holding down the middle, the foundation is still there. But the rest of that offensive line needs a total overhaul if we're going to see another trophy in the case. Wrapping this up, Kingdom, stay loud, stay proud, and remember, the Sea of Red never retreats. We're coming back in 2026 with a vengeance that the rest of the AFC isn't ready for. How about those Chiefs? Stay locked in, because the road to immortality just took a sharp, difficult turn, but the destination remains the same.